A better life rarely begins with a big, visible change. It begins with a different standard, often in places that seem small at first, in what you accept without thinking, what you repeat out of habit, and what you allow to stay simply because it has always been there. Standards shape outcomes in a very direct way, even when it's not obvious at first. You can put in effort, stay consistent, and still feel like nothing is truly changing if the level you operate at remains the same. Results tend to match what you consider acceptable, not how much energy you give, which is why working harder doesn't always lead to something better. A shift begins the moment you decide that certain things are no longer enough. That decision is often quiet and internal, yet it changes how you see everything around you. What you tolerated before starts to stand out. What felt normal begins to feel misaligned. The same situations are still there, but your relationship to them is no longer the same. And that alone starts to influence how you respond. From there, your choices become more deliberate. You don't react the same way. You don't agree as quickly. You don't continue patterns that lead to the same outcome. You begin to choose based on what actually supports you, not what is familiar or convenient. And that creates a subtle but consistent difference in how your days unfold. Raising your standard is less about adding and more about removing. You remove what doesn't meet the level you've decided on, even when it would be easier to keep it. You stop giving energy to things that don't return anything meaningful. You allow certain options to fall away without replacing them immediately, which creates space for something better to take shape. That is where the real change happens. Your actions begin to reflect a higher expectation without force. You move with more clarity, not because you are doing more, but because you are doing what matters. What once felt acceptable no longer holds your attention, and what you build starts to match the level you chose to operate from. A better life doesn't come from intensity. It comes from a decision about what is no longer enough, followed by the willingness to live according to that decision, even in the smallest, most ordinary moments.